Alex Mitchell stood at the viewport of the deep space research vessel Horizon, watching the stars blur as they traveled through the vast emptiness of space. He had spent his whole life studying alien biology, but until 6 months ago, humans had never met any aliens. Now they were on their way to the first official meeting with the Galactic Confederation. "Dr. Mitchell, report to the briefing room," said a voice over the ship's speakers. Alex adjusted his blue uniform and ran a hand through his short brown hair. At 32 years old, he was the youngest xenobiologist ever chosen for a first contact mission. He walked quickly through the curved hallways of the ship, nodding to fellow crew members as he passed. Captain Laura Winters was waiting in the briefing room, along with 5 other specialists. Her stern face softened slightly when Alex entered. "We're approaching the meeting point," she said. "The Confederation ship will dock with us in 1 hour. Alex, you'll be part of the welcome team." Alex's heart beat faster. "Yes, Captain. Remember," Laura continued, "we represent all of humanity. This meeting will shape our future in the galaxy." The team prepared for the next hour, reviewing alien customs and diplomatic protocols. Alex couldn't stop thinking about the 17 different alien species he would soon meet. What would they look like? How would they communicate? His hands trembled slightly with excitement. The ship shuddered as the Confederation vessel connected with the Horizon. Alex stood with the welcome team in the main airlock chamber, waiting as the pressure equalized and the doors slowly slid open. The aliens that entered were nothing like what Alex had imagined. Some floated on cushions of air, others moved on multiple legs. One delegate appeared to be made entirely of shimmering crystal. Their sizes ranged from as small as a child to as tall as 3 humans stacked together. A blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Nellox of the Galactic Confederation," he said through a translation device. "We welcome humans to the galactic community." The meeting moved to the ship's conference room, where both sides exchanged information about their cultures and histories. Alex listened carefully, taking notes on his tablet. The aliens seemed impressed by how quickly humans had developed space travel, though they were clearly the more advanced civilization. 3 hours into the meeting, a loud alarm suddenly blared throughout both ships. The alien delegates jumped to their feet, their translator devices all speaking at once in a chaotic jumble. "What's happening?" Alex asked, rising from his chair. Ambassador Nelox's skin had turned a pale blue. "Proximity alert. There's a Kryvax approaching." "A what?" Captain Winters asked. "The deadliest predator in the galaxy," Nelox replied, his voice shaking. "We must evacuate immediately." The conference room erupted into panic. The alien delegates rushed toward their ship, pushing past the human team. Captain Winters tried to maintain order, but the aliens were clearly terrified. "Dr. Mitchell, stay with the diplomatic team," she ordered Alex before running to the bridge. Alex tried to follow the retreating group, but in the confusion he took a wrong turn. The unfamiliar corridors of the diplomatic section all looked the same. He could hear the alarm blaring and feel the ship vibrating as emergency protocols activated. He turned another corner and found himself in a small observation deck. Through the viewport, he saw something moving in space, something massive and dark that reflected no light. As it drew closer, Alex could make out its shape, a creature with an elongated body covered in what looked like black armor plates. It was at least the size of a small shuttle, with multiple limbs that ended in sharp points. As Alex watched in fascination and horror, the creature was hit by a beam of energy from somewhere out of view. It convulsed, clearly wounded, and drifted toward the horizon. The ship shuddered violently. Alex lost his balance and fell against the wall. The lights flickered and went out, leaving only the red emergency lights. Over the speakers, he heard the captain ordering all personnel to evacuation stations. Alex tried to find his way back to the main corridors, but the ship had suffered damage, and some passages were blocked. He activated the flashlight on his comm device and kept moving, searching for any sign of his team. He entered what appeared to be a damaged cargo bay. Part of the outer hull had been breached, but quickly sealed by emergency force fields. The blue shimmer of the field cast an eerie light across the room. Alex stopped in his tracks when he saw what was inside. The creature he had seen through the viewport was there, having somehow entered during the breach. Up close, it was even more terrifying. Its black armored body stretched nearly 20 feet, long with multiple jointed limbs that ended in wicked claws. What Alex had thought was a head was actually a complex arrangement of sensory organs surrounding a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. The creature was wounded. A dark fluid that might have been blood leaked from a gash in its side. It had wedged itself between cargo containers, partially hidden, like a wounded animal seeking shelter. Alex knew he should run. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, but the scientist in him was fascinated. This was the creature that had terrified an entire galactic civilization, the Kryvax. The Kryvax shifted, and several glowing eyes fixed on Alex. He froze, barely, breathing. The creature made no move to attack. Instead, it watched him with what Alex could only describe as curiosity. Slowly, carefully, Alex took a step back toward the door. The Kryvax made a low rumbling sound that vibrated through the floor. It wasn't an aggressive noise, it almost seemed like a form of communication. Against all logic, Alex stepped forward instead of retreating. "You're hurt," he said quietly, knowing the creature couldn't understand him. "Everyone's afraid of you, but you're just injured and scared, aren't you?" The Kryvax's eyes blinked in sequence. One of its limbs shifted, revealing the wound more clearly. The movement seemed deliberate, as if it was showing Alex the injury. "I study alien biology," Alex continued, slowly reaching for the medical scanner he always kept in his pocket. "I might be able to help you," his comm device buzzed. It was Captain Winters. "Mitchell, where are you? The Confederation ship is preparing to detach. We need to leave now." Alex looked at the wounded Kryvax, then at his comm. He made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Captain, I've found something important," he said. "I need more time." "There is no more time," she shouted through the comm. "The Kryvax is right here with me," Alex said. "And I don't think it's what the Confederation told us at all." The next 12 hours were the most intense of Alex's life. Captain Winters had been furious when he refused to leave the cargo bay, but eventually agreed to seal off the area instead of forcing him out. The Confederation ship had departed quickly, leaving behind only urgent warnings about the deadly nature of the Kryvax. Alex now sat on a crate about 15 feet from the creature, which he had begun to call Vex in his mind. The name seemed to fit the mysterious being that watched him with those intelligent eyes. "The captain says I'm crazy," Alex said aloud, knowing Vex couldn't understand his words but suspecting it might understand his tone. "Maybe I am. But you haven't tried to kill me yet, which goes against everything they told us about your kind." Vex shifted slightly, adjusting its position among the cargo containers. The wound on its side had stopped bleeding after Alex had cautiously applied a medical spray from across the room using a drone. The creature had allowed this, remaining perfectly still during the procedure. Alex's tablet chimed. It was a message from Sam Harris, the ship's doctor and Alex's closest friend aboard the Horizon. "Meeting in the captain's office in 10 minutes. The message read, "The Confederation sent files about the Kryvax. It's bad, Alex." Alex looked at Vex. "I have to go for a while. Try not to break anything." He made sure the cargo bay was secure before heading to the captain's office. 4 people were waiting there: Captain Winters, Dr. Harris, Security Chief Greg Powell, and First Officer Natalie. "Reed, nice of you to join us, Dr. Mitchell," said Captain Winters coolly. Her gray eyes were hard as stone. Greg Powell stood with his arms crossed. "We should kill that thing while it's wounded. The Confederation data is clear about how dangerous these creatures are." "What exactly does the data say?" Alex asked. Sam pulled up files on the main screen. "The Kryvax are apex predators that have terrorized spacefaring civilizations for over 3,000 years. They hunt sentient beings specifically and have wiped out 3 entire species." Images appeared on the screen: worlds left barren, ships torn apart, and recordings of armored creatures like Vex attacking without mercy. They're described as having animal-level intelligence focused entirely on hunting and killing, Natalie Reed said, reading from the report. No communication has ever been established. They attack alone but sometimes coordinate in small groups. The Confederation has a standing elimination order for any Krivax encountered. That doesn't match what I'm seeing, Alex argued. The creature, in our cargo bay, has had multiple chances to attack me. Instead, it's been cautious, curious even. It deliberately showed me its wound. It's manipulating you, Greg said firmly. These things are smart hunters. It's biding its time. Alex shook his head. I don't think so. Look at these brain scans I took with the medical drone. He transferred data from his tablet to the main screen. These neural patterns are too complex for a simple predator. There's activity in areas that would indicate higher reasoning, possibly even language processing. Captain Winters studied the scans with a frown. Even if you're right, the Confederation has made their position clear. They expect us to eliminate the Krivax or at least turn it over to them when they send a specialized hunting team. A hunting team? Alex asked, alarmed. They're dispatching a ship now, Natalie confirmed. Arrival expected in about 3 days. That's not enough time, Alex said. I need to understand this creature better. There's something wrong with the Confederation's assessment, Captain Winters sighed. I'm giving you 48 hours, Dr. Mitchell. Show me proof that this Krivax is more than a mindless killer, or I'll have Chief Powell remove it from my ship. Understood? Alex nodded. Thank you, Captain. He returned to the cargo bay with Sam, who had agreed to help despite his reservations. They brought equipment to better study the Krivax. I still think you're crazy, Sam said, as they set up monitoring devices at a safe distance from Vex. But I trust your instincts. If you say this thing isn't just a monster, I believe you. Over the next several hours, they observed Vex's behavior. The creature seemed to be recovering from its wound, moving more freely around its side of the cargo bay. It showed particular interest in the screens and lights of their equipment. See how it watches the displays? Alex pointed out. It understands. These are tools, not threats or food. Could be simple curiosity, Sam argued. Alex had an idea. He pulled up a basic communication program on his tablet and showed it to Vex. The screen displayed simple shapes: circle, square, triangle. I want to try something, Alex said. He pressed the circle icon, and a soft tone played. Then he pressed the square, which made a different tone. After demonstrating several times, Alex set the tablet on the floor and pushed it halfway toward Vex. This is either brilliant or suicidal, Sam muttered. Vex studied the tablet for several minutes. Then, with surprising delicacy, it extended one clawed limb and touched the circle icon. When the tone played, Vex made a rumbling sound. Did you see that? Alex whispered excitedly. Over the next hour, Vex learned to associate each shape with its sound. Then Alex changed the program, making it more complex with colors and patterns. Vex adapted quickly, showing clear understanding. This isn't animal behavior, Alex insisted. This is communication. By the end of their first day of testing, Alex had developed a primitive translation system. Using a neural interface normally used for learning alien languages, he began to understand that Vex's rumbles and clicks actually followed specific patterns. I think they have their own language, Alex told Sam as they reviewed the data late that night. And from what I'm piecing together, Vex is trying to warn us about something. Warn us? About what? I'm not sure yet. But one pattern keeps repeating whenever I show images of the Confederation ships. Alex rubbed his tired eyes. I need more time. You have until tomorrow night, Sam reminded him. Then the captain wants results. That night, Alex slept on a cot in the cargo bay, unwilling to leave Vex alone. He woke suddenly to find the creature looming over him, its face just feet from his own. Alex's heart hammered in his chest, but he remained still. Vex made a series of clicking sounds, then gently pushed the neural interface toward Alex with one claw. With shaking hands, Alex put on the device. Immediately, broken images flooded his mind. Krivax being hunted, killed systematically. Ships with Confederation markings releasing biological weapons on a planet where Krivax young were hidden. And most disturbing, laboratories were captured. Krivax were dissected while still alive. Alex gasped and pulled off the interface. Vex backed away, watching him with those intelligent eyes. They lied, Alex whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion. The Confederation lied about everything. Alex burst into Captain Winter's office early the next morning without knocking. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but his face showed excitement. "I have proof," he said, placing his tablet on her desk. "The Krivax aren't what the Confederation told us they are." Captain Winters frowned at the interruption, but looked at the data Alex had collected. "Explain this to me, Dr. Mitchell." "I've established basic communication with Vex. That's what I'm calling the Krivax. Using the neural interface, I was able to access some of its memories." Alex pulled up the recorded brain patterns. "These aren't the thoughts of a mindless predator. This is a fully intelligent species with its own language, culture, and history. Even if that's true, it doesn't explain why the Confederation fears them so much," the captain said. "Because the Confederation tried to wipe them out first," Alex replied. "Vex showed me memories of Confederation ships attacking Krivax worlds, using biological weapons against them. The Krivax were peaceful until they were forced to fight back." Captain Winters leaned back in her chair. "That's a serious accusation, Dr. Mitchell." "I know, but I believe it's the truth." Before she could respond, the ship's alarm sounded. First Officer Reed's voice came over the comm system. "Captain, to the bridge. We have an incoming Confederation vessel. They're requesting immediate docking." "They're early," Captain Winters said, standing up. "The hunting team wasn't supposed to arrive for another 2 days." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. "Captain, please don't let them take Vex. I need to see more proof before I risk a diplomatic incident," she replied as they hurried to the bridge. The main screen showed a sleek, heavily armed Confederation ship approaching the horizon. It was much more intimidating than the diplomatic vessel they had met earlier. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer. "On screen," ordered Captain Winters. The face that appeared was unlike any alien they had seen before. It had rough gray skin with ridge-like markings and 4 yellow eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. "I am General Zorax of the Confederation, Special Hunter Division," the alien said through a translator. "We have come for the Krivax detected on your vessel. Prepare for our boarding party." "This is Captain Laura Winters of the Earth vessel Horizon. We were told you would arrive in 2 days." "The situation is urgent," General Zorax replied. "These creatures are extremely dangerous. My team is specially trained to deal with them." "We have the situation under control," Captain Winters said. "The creature is contained and has shown no aggression." General Zorax's eyes narrowed. "That is precisely how they deceive their prey. You will surrender the Krivax immediately, or we will consider your ship hostile to Confederation interests." The screen went blank. Captain Winters turned to Alex. "You have 1 hour to show me conclusive proof. Otherwise, I'll have no choice but to hand over the Krivax." Alex raced back to the cargo bay where Sam was monitoring Vex. "We have a problem," he said, explaining the situation. "So we need to prove Vex isn't a mindless killer in less than an hour?" Sam asked. "No pressure there." Alex approached Vex with the neural interface. "I need to understand more," he said to the creature. "They're coming for you." Vex seemed to understand the urgency. It extended a limb toward Alex, touching the neural device. This time, the connection was stronger, clearer. Alex saw images of a beautiful world with structures built both underwater and reaching into the sky. He saw Krivax caring for their young, creating art, studying the stars. Then he saw the first Confederation ships arriving, the initial peaceful contact, followed by sudden betrayal. "They feared your physical capabilities," Alex whispered as understanding dawned. "They saw how strong your species was and decided you were too dangerous to exist alongside them." Vex made a series of clicks and rumbles that the interface partially translated: fear, misunderstanding, survival. Alex recorded everything, gathering as much data as possible to show Captain Winters. But before he could finish, the cargo bay door slid open. Chief Powell entered with 6 security officers, all armed. Time's up, Dr. Mitchell, Powell said. The Confederation boarding party has docked. They're demanding the creature. You can't take Vex, Alex protested, stepping between the security team and the Kryvax. They'll kill it. This is all based on a centuries-old mistake. Those are our orders, Powell replied firmly. Sam stepped forward. Greg, look at this data first. This creature isn't what they say it is. While Powell hesitated, examining Sam's tablet, the neural interface on Alex's head lit up. Vex was sending him urgent images, a hidden passage in the cargo bay wall, a maintenance tunnel leading to the shuttle bay. It's an escape route, Alex realized. He turned to Sam. We need to buy some time. Sam nodded slightly, understanding. He deliberately dropped his tablet, creating a distraction as he bent to pick it up. In that moment, Alex felt Vex move with incredible speed. The creature slipped through the security team and disappeared into the shadows of the cargo bay. It's loose, Powell shouted, raising his weapon. Lock down the ship. Alarms blared throughout the horizon. Alex ran after Vex, ignoring Powell's orders to stop. He followed the mental images Vex had shared, finding the maintenance access panel that led into the ship's service tunnels. The narrow tunnels were barely big enough for Alex to crawl through. He was amazed that Vex, much larger than him, had managed to navigate them. He followed the sound of the creature's movement ahead of him, wondering if he was making a terrible mistake by helping it escape. After what seemed like an eternity of crawling through dusty tunnels, Alex emerged in the shuttle bay. Vex was already there, hiding behind a row of supply crates. The bay was empty of personnel. They must have all responded to the security alert elsewhere on the ship. Alex hurried to the nearest shuttle, a small research vessel meant for planetary surveys. He quickly powered up the systems and opened the hatch. In here, he called to Vex, hoping the creature would understand. To his relief, Vex slipped into the shuttle, folding its large body into the cargo section. Alex sealed the hatch and began the launch sequence, overriding the safety protocols with his emergency authorization code. The shuttle bay doors began to open when Captain Winter's voice came over the comm. Dr. Mitchell, stand down immediately. That's an order. I can't, Captain, Alex replied. They'll kill Vex without even trying to understand. Everything the Confederation told us about the Kryvax is wrong. You're risking your career, possibly your life. The Confederation hunting team is already on board. They're heading to the shuttle bay now. As if on cue, the inner doors to the shuttle bay slid open. General Zorax stood there with 4 heavily armed soldiers. They carried weapons unlike anything Alex had seen before, specifically designed to kill Kryvax, he guessed. One more chance, Dr. Mitchell. Captain Winters said, Don't do this. Alex looked back at Vex, who watched him with those intelligent eyes. In that moment, he made his decision. I'm sorry, Captain. The truth needs to come out. He activated the launch sequence. The shuttle's engines roared to life as it lifted off the deck. Through the viewport, Alex saw General Zorax raising his weapon. The shuttle shot out of the bay just as energy blasts erupted behind them. The small vessel shuddered but continued accelerating away from the horizon. They're going to come after us, Alex said to Vex. Where should we go? Vex moved to the navigation console and with surprising dexterity, input a series of coordinates. Alex stared at the star map in surprise. That's the edge of charted space. Is that where your people are? Vex made the rumbling sound that Alex now recognized as affirmation. As the shuttle jumped to faster-than-light speed, Alex realized he had just become a fugitive from both human and Confederation authorities. But for the first time in his life, he felt he was doing something truly important, something that might change the course of galactic history. 3 days passed in the small research shuttle as Alex and Vex traveled toward the coordinates at the edge of known space. The vessel wasn't designed for long journeys, and supplies were limited. Alex rationed the food carefully, unsure what Vex ate until he discovered the Kryvax could consume the shuttle's protein paste. We should reach your coordinates tomorrow, Alex said, checking the navigation system. He had grown used to talking to Vex, even though their communication remained basic. The neural interface helped, but it was designed for humanoid brains and only partially worked with Kryvax thought patterns. Vex moved to the viewport, gazing at the stars streaking by. The creature made a series of clicking sounds that the interface translated roughly as home, few remain, hiding. How many of your kind are left? Alex asked. The answer came as a mental image, a small asteroid field with structures built into the rocks and perhaps 100 Kryvacs moving among them. So few, Alex whispered. The Confederation nearly wiped you out. Vex's response translated as long war, many generations, losing. The ship's sensors beeped suddenly, indicating a vessel approaching from behind. Alex checked the readings and felt his stomach tighten. It's a Confederation ship, he said. They followed us. Vex moved quickly to the control panel, touching buttons with surprising precision. The shuttle changed course, veering toward a nearby nebula, a thick cloud of gas and dust that might hide them from sensors. Good idea, Alex said, taking manual control of the ship. We can't outrun them, but maybe we can hide until we reach your sanctuary. They entered the nebula, and visibility dropped to almost nothing. Alex cut power to all non-essential systems to reduce their energy signature. They drifted slowly through the colorful gases, hoping the pursuing ship would pass them by. Hours crawled by in tense silence. Alex checked the sensors periodically, keeping them on minimal power. The Confederation ship was still out there searching methodically through the nebula. They're not giving up, Alex said, worry clear in his voice. Vex touched the neural interface, sending an image to Alex's mind. A small planet within the nebula not far from their position. Is that safe? Alex asked. The response came as a feeling more than words, uncertainty, but few alternatives. Alex plotted a course for the coordinates Vex had shared. They moved slowly, using minimal thrust to avoid detection. The planet gradually appeared through the nebula, a small rocky world with a thin atmosphere. They landed in a canyon where the ship would be difficult to spot from orbit. Alex grabbed emergency supplies and they left the shuttle, seeking better shelter in the rocky terrain. The air was thin but breathable for Alex. Vex seemed comfortable in the environment. They found a cave deep in the canyon wall and settled. Inside, Alex set up the emergency beacon from the shuttle, adjusting it to broadcast on a frequency Vex indicated might reach other Kryvacs. Now we wait, Alex said, sitting on a rock and opening an emergency ration pack. Vex settled nearby, those intelligent eyes still watching Alex with curiosity. Using the neural interface, Vex sent an image to Alex's mind, his own face when he first encountered the Kryvacs in the cargo bay. You want to know why I helped you? Alex asked, understanding the question. Vex made an affirmative rumble. Alex thought carefully about his answer. Where I come from, we have a saying, don't judge a book by its cover. It means you shouldn't form opinions based only on how something looks. Everyone told me you were a monster, but I saw intelligence in your eyes. I wanted to understand the, truth. Vex was quiet for a long time, then sent a series of images through the interface. Kryvacs young being raised, taught, cared for. Kryvacs creating art, building cities, exploring space. Then the first contact with the Confederation. Initial peaceful meetings followed by sudden attacks. They feared you because you were physically stronger, Alex said, understanding more, clearly now. They saw you as a threat to their dominance in the galaxy. Vex confirmed with a low rumble, then showed more images. Centuries of Kryvacs being hunted, their numbers dwindling, forced to use their natural hunting abilities to survive. Over time, as they fought back against extinction, the Confederation began to see them only as the predators they had been forced to become. They rewrote history, Alex said bitterly, made you into the aggressors to justify genocide. Their conversation was interrupted by a distant sound, the roar of ship engines. Alex crawled to the cave entrance and looked up. A Confederation vessel was descending toward their shuttle's landing site. They found us, he whispered, ducking back into the cave. Vex moved deeper into the darkness, indicating that Alex should follow. The cave system was extensive, tunneling far into the canyon wall. They moved as quickly and quietly as possible, putting distance between themselves and the entrance. Behind them, Alex heard voices and the sound of weapons being prepared. The hunting team was closing in. The tunnel eventually opened into a larger cavern with multiple exits. Vex hesitated, seeming uncertain which way to go. Alex checked his portable scanner, trying to map the cave system, but the mineral content of the rocks interfered with the readings. "We need to keep moving," Alex said urgently. A loud explosion echoed through the tunnels. The hunters were blasting their way through narrow passages to follow them faster. Vex suddenly went still, head tilted as if listening. Then, with renewed purpose, the creature moved toward one of the smaller tunnels. Alex followed, trusting Vex's instincts. The tunnel sloped downward, taking them deeper underground. The air grew warmer, and Alex began to sweat. His portable light illuminated strange crystal formations on the walls that seemed to glow faintly with their own inner light. After what felt like hours of moving through increasingly narrow passages, they emerged into an enormous underground cavern. Alex gasped at the sight. The entire space was filled with the glowing crystals, creating a blue-green light that reflected off a large underground lake. At the edge of the lake stood 3 Kryvacs. "More of your kind," Alex whispered in amazement. "How did they find us?" Vex made a series of clicks and rumbles communicating with the other Kryvacs. They responded in kind, their massive bodies shifting with apparent agitation. One of them, larger than Vex with paler armor plates, approached Alex cautiously. Through the neural interface, Alex received a simple message. "Human, help, Vex, friend?" "Yes," Alex replied simply. "I'm a friend." The large Kryvacs studied him for a moment, then turned and made a sweeping gesture toward the lake. The surface of the water rippled, and something massive began to rise from the depths. Alex stared in wonder as a sleek, crystalline ship emerged from the water. It was unlike any vessel he had ever seen, with organic curves and surfaces that seemed to shimmer with the same light as the crystals around them. "Your ship?" Alex asked Vex. Vex confirmed with a rumble, adding through the interface. "Ancient. Few remain. Last hope." The sound of distant explosions reminded them of the approaching danger. The pale Kryvacs gestured toward the ship, clearly indicating they should board. "What about the hunters?" Alex asked. Vex's response came as a grim certainty. "Cannot stop hunting. Must reach sanctuary, last chance." Alex looked back at the tunnel they had emerged from, knowing the Confederation team was getting closer. He then turned to the waiting ship, a vessel of a species the galaxy had tried to exterminate based on fear and lies. The choice was clear. He stepped toward the Kryvac ship, ready to see this journey through to the end, to find the truth and share it with both humanity and the galaxy. The Kryvac's crystal ship moved silently through space, far faster than Alex had thought possible. Inside, the vessel was unlike any he had seen before. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with soft blue light. There were no chairs or control panels, as humans would recognize them. Instead, the Kryvacs connected directly to the ship through special alcoves where they rested their limbs. 5 Kryvacs were now aboard: Vex, the pale leader who seemed to be called Kral, and 3 others. They communicated constantly in their clicking language, occasionally including Alex through the neural interface. "How long until we reach the sanctuary?" Alex asked Vex. The answer came as an image in his mind. One full rotation of the planet they had left. About 20 hours. Alex nodded and went to check the small viewing port. The stars streaked by in unfamiliar patterns. They were traveling beyond charted space now. Alex's thoughts turned to Earth, to the horizon, to Captain Winters. What would happen to human relations? With the Confederation now? Would he be considered a traitor? Did it matter if he could help prevent the extinction of an entire intelligent species? Kral approached, moving with surprising grace for such a large creature. Through the neural interface, Alex received broken thoughts. "Why, human help. Enemy?" "You're not my enemy," Alex replied. "I'm a scientist. I study life. What the Confederation is doing to your people is wrong." Kral seemed to consider this. then sent another thought. Others like you? I hope so, Alex said. My people are new to the galaxy. We don't share the Confederation's history with your kind. If I can tell them the truth, maybe humans could help broker peace. The idea seemed to interest Krall, who shared it with the other Kryvax. Their clicking grew excited, though Alex couldn't follow their rapid communication. Suddenly, warning lights flashed throughout the ship. One of the Kryvax at a connection alcove made urgent sounds. Vex rushed to Alex's side, sending images through the interface. 3 Confederation warships, approaching from different directions. They've found us, Alex said. How? We're beyond charted space. The answer came as a realization. There must be a tracker somewhere. The only thing they had brought from outside was the neural interface, Alex said, reaching for the device on his head. They must have traced its signal. He removed it quickly and looked for a way to disable it. Without the interface, he could no longer understand the Kryvax directly, but their agitation was clear. Vex pointed to a small chamber that Alex understood was for waste disposal. He quickly placed the interface inside and sealed it. Vex activated the chamber, ejecting the device into space. But it was too late. The Confederation ships were closing in, weapons charged. The crystal ship shuddered as the first energy beam struck its shields. Krall took the main control position, and the ship accelerated, trying to evade their pursuers. The other Kryvax moved with purpose, operating different systems of the vessel. Alex could only watch, feeling helpless without a way to communicate fully. The view screen showed they were approaching a dense asteroid field. Krall guided the ship into it, using the massive rocks as cover. The Confederation ships followed, but more cautiously. Vex touched Alex's arm, pointing to a specific asteroid in the distance, larger than the others with faint lights visible on its surface. Alex understood immediately, the Kryvax sanctuary. But the Confederation ships were still in pursuit, and 2 more had appeared ahead, blocking their path to the sanctuary. They were surrounded. A message came through on the ship's communication system, automatically translated into multiple languages, including basic human English. Kryvax vessel, surrender the human hostage and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning. Hostage, Alex said aloud. They think you kidnapped me. Vex made a series of gestures that Alex interpreted as a plan. The Kryvax wanted him to respond, to tell the truth. Without the neural interface, communication was difficult, but Alex nodded his understanding. Vex activated the ship's transmitter and gestured for Alex to speak. This is Dr. Alex Mitchell of Earth, he said clearly. I am not a hostage. I came willingly to help the Kryvax. The Confederation has been lying about them for centuries. They are an intelligent, peaceful species that was attacked first. The Confederation tried to exterminate them based on fear, not fact. There was a long pause before a response came. Dr. Mitchell, this is General Zorax. You have been misled by these creatures. They are manipulating you. Stand down and allow us to extract you. No, Alex replied firmly. I've seen the truth through their memories. I've seen your biological weapons used against their young. I've seen your hunters killing them without provocation. The galaxy needs to know what really happened. As he spoke, Vex was busy at a control panel. On a small screen, Alex saw that his message wasn't just going to the Confederation ships. It was being broadcast on all frequencies, including back to human space and throughout Confederation territories. General Zorax must have realized this too. His voice became harder. Cut transmission immediately or we will open fire. The Confederation ships moved closer, weapons ready. The crystal ship's shields were weakening under the continued attacks. Alex knew they couldn't outrun or outfight 5 warships. In that desperate moment, Vex touched a crystal on the control panel. A compartment opened, revealing a small device. Vex handed it to Alex. It was a data crystal containing what appeared to be thousands of recorded Kryvax memories. Alex understood. Even if they didn't survive, the truth might. He pocketed the crystal and nodded to Vex. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. Suddenly, A new voice came over the communication system. Confederation vessels, this is Captain Laura. Winters of the Earth ship Horizon. Stand down immediately. Alex stared at the view screen in shock as the Horizon appeared, positioning itself between the crystal ship and the Confederation vessels. Captain? Alex said, amazed. How did you find us? We followed the Confederation fleet, Captain Winters replied. We've been monitoring your transmissions, Dr. Mitchell. The data you've been broadcasting, it's already causing an uproar in the Confederation Council. Indeed, 2 of the Confederation ships had stopped their approach, their weapons powered down as they received new orders. This is First Counselor Tellax, came a new voice. General Zorax, you will cease your attack immediately. We are receiving reports from 17 worlds questioning the history of the Krivax conflict. The human broadcast has reached every corner of Confederation space. But Counselor, Zorax protested, these creatures will be granted safe passage to their sanctuary while we investigate these claims, Tellax interrupted. The human doctor will present his evidence to the full council, if what he says is true. The counselor didn't finish the thought. The Confederation ships began to withdraw, all except for Zorax's vessel, which remained in position. This isn't over, Zorax said darkly before his ship finally turned away. The path to the sanctuary asteroid was clear. Kral guided the crystal ship forward as the Horizon moved alongside them in escort. Alex looked at Vex, who made a gesture that needed no translation. Gratitude. Captain Winters, Alex said over the comm. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Dr. Mitchell, she replied. You've just forced the Confederation to reconsider centuries of policy. The path ahead won't be easy. But it's the right path, Alex said, firmly. As the crystal ship approached the sanctuary, Alex saw hundreds of Krivax emerging from hidden structures within the asteroid. They had been watching, waiting to see if their kind would be destroyed or if perhaps there might finally be hope. In that moment, Alex realized that sometimes it took an outsider, someone not bound by old fears and hatreds, to see the truth and have the courage to stand for it. Humanity's place in the galaxy might have just been defined not by its technology or strength, but by its willingness to look beyond appearances and find understanding where others saw only danger. The human who shocked the galaxy by befriending its deadliest predator, had changed history forever.